Good morning, Boker Tov, on this morning, this Erev Shabbat, this 30th day of the month of Shvat. Tonight begins the month of Adar, the month of Chag Purim, and we can feel the holiday coming. And this month of Adar is supposed to be a joyful month, a time where Mishenichnas Adar Marbim B'Simcha. From the time that Adar comes, we seek out more joy. And so, while being responsible and looking at the larger world around us, as we'll do today and this morning, let us also continue to seek out joy and goodness. Good morning, Annette. Good morning, Joni. It's wonderful to have you here. It's wonderful to all be together here this morning. Good morning, Steve, and to Eleanor as well. To one, to all, Boker Tov. Welcome to Boker Tov from Temple Sinai. Temple Sinai Congregation of Toronto's daily opportunity to connect, to reflect, and to remember. I'm Rabbi Michael Dolgan, and it's a pleasure to be with you on this lovely Friday morning, this sunny Friday morning, as we prepare for a Shabbat and Rosh Chodesh, a time where we have the chance to review our lives. The eve of Rosh Chodesh, or the time just before Shabbat today, is known in our tradition as Yom Kippur Katan, as Little Yom Kippur, because it is our job every month, not just every year, but also every week and every day, to look at our life and ourselves, to see how far we have come and how far we have yet to go. Please join me in this prayer of gratitude for being awake and alive and here this morning. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yatzar et ha'adam bechokma, uברא בו נקבים נקבים, חלולים חלולים, גלוי וידוע לפני כיסא כבודך, שאם ייפתח אחד מהם, או יסתם אחד מהם, אי אפשר להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך. ברוך אתה אדוני, רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. Blessed eternal God, creator of the universe, you have fashioned our bodies with wisdom, creating within us a finely balanced network. To stand before you in prayer is itself a fragile miracle. Eternal God, we praise you as the healer of body and spirit. And we continue with our prayer for the soul. The soul that you have given me, O God, is a pure one. You have created and formed it, breathed it into me, and within me you sustain it. So long as my soul is within me, I will give thanks to you, eternal my God and God of my ancestors, source of all creation, sovereign of all souls. We praise you, eternal God, in whose hand is the power of all life and the spirit of all flesh. And let's join together, Lasok b'divrei Torah, reminding us that learning is not just a value among our people, but a moment-to-moment, day-in, day-out responsibility. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. V'arev na Adonai Eloheinu et divrei Toratcha b'finu ובפי עמך בית ישראל, ונהיה אנחנו וצאצאינו וצאצאי עמך בית ישראל, כולנו יודעי שמך ולומדי תורתך לשמה. ברוך אתה אדוני, המלמד תורה לעמו ישראל. אלה דברים שאין להם שיעור. These are the obligations whose value cannot be measured. They nourish us in this world and help us to create the world to come. Kibud avaim, to honor fathers and mothers. Ugmilut chasadim, to perform acts of love and kindness. Bashkamat betamidrash shacharit v'arvit, to attend the house of study morning and evening. V'achnasat ochim, to welcome the stranger. Uvikul cholim, to visit the sick. V'achnasat kala, to provide for brides and grooms. Udvayat hamet, to keep faith with the dead. V'yun tefillah, to pray with sincerity. V'hava'at shalom ben adam lachavero, to make peace when there is strife. V'talmud Torah keneged kulam, and the study of Torah is equal to them all. Let us continue by reciting our Birchot HaShachar, our morning blessings. This week, additional captives were returned, sadly, after the physical life had ended. And it is a reminder each day of our ongoing commitment to being Matir Asurim, the ones whose voices contribute, whose efforts contribute to setting free the captive. We have limited amounts that we can do, but we must do absolutely everything we can. And so we continue with that commitment and so many other day-to-day commitments, joining in the first blessing, half in Hebrew, half English, the second entirely in Hebrew, and continuing to alternate, except that one blessing that I mentioned already, setting free the captive, we will recite in both languages. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, you have given the rooster the natural wisdom to distinguish day from night. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani betzalmenu kidmotenu. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, you have given me free will. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you have helped me provide for my needs. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you clothe the naked. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim, and also half English. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you release those who are held captive. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you help those who are bowed to stand straight. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, roka haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you guide each person's steps. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, ozer Yisrael b'gvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you crown Israel with glory. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten layayif koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you remove sleep from my eyes and weariness from my eyelids. And having now recited 18 brachot, 18 blessings, Chai brachot, the affirmation of life, is at the most basic of our Jewish values, recognizing that the continuity of life it supersedes other commandments, even though in Torah it's not clearly so. In rabbinic teaching for thousands of years, it is clearly so. And we must bear witness to a life lived, fully embracing life, which means ve'ahavta, that loving the divine, loving what is good, loving one another is a commandment. And love does not mean loving on condition. It means loving unconditionally while at the same time taking note of those core values that make us created in the divine image and focusing on living and exemplifying those core values. Let's recite Shema together. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Vaed Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha Bechol Levavecha Ubechol Nafshecha Ubechol Meodecha Ve'ayu Advarim Ha'ele Asher Anochi Metzavcha Hayom Al Levavecha V'shinantam Levanecha V'dibarta Bam V'shivtecha b'vetecha, u'v'lechtecha v'derech, u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha, u'kshartam la'ot al yadecha, v'ayu letotafot ben enecha, u'chtabtam al mezuzot betecha, u'v'yisharecha. V'yomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Yisrael ve'amarta alehem, ve'yasu lahem tzitzit al kanfei bigdeihem ledorotam. ונתנו על ציצית הכנף בציר תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית, וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם. ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם, ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי. והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Well, as we go into the month of Adar, being tonight, to me, that the fact that it is supposed to be a time when we seek out joy, that it is a time also where that is characterized by Chag Purim, by the holiday of Purim, that we really need to look hard at the world around us and to see what is happening. Eventually, Chag Purim, while a holiday we think of as a time to get dressed up and celebrate like children and with children, is also a story about one of the earliest stories of the oldest hatred of anti-Semitism. And as our people in these stories overcame, it is so important for us to realize that with commitment and connection and reaching out to others of good faith, we can and we will overcome. And the power of the individual, to me, is represented by looking out at the world. I can't help but look out at our province of Ontario, at the provincial election that happened yesterday. And to see, well, I have a word in a moment about the result. What I really see is a reminder of how much influence, how much power each of us has, and what a difference that makes. I was looking at the results this morning and saw that one of the ridings in Ontario was decided by 4 votes, or at least remains undecided, because the 2 leading candidates are separated by 4 votes. Eglinton Lawrence, the riding that abuts Temple Sinai to the south, is undecided, with Michelle Cooper, the conservative candidate. There was no incumbent in this, although Robin Martin was our incumbent conservative MPP. Michelle Cooper's leading by 140 plus votes, such a small number, especially considering that there are almost 2,000 mail-in votes still uncounted. And so that is still undecided. That another riding I looked at divided by 40 votes. That each of us, even in a province with this massive population, each of us, congratulations if you bothered to get out and vote. It is, to me, an act of responsibility and faith. It is an acknowledgement to those who literally in our history have fought for our right to live as a free and democratic society, that even when we may not feel strongly about the candidates or the leaders, that it so much is our responsibility to get out and to vote, especially considering the nature of healthcare in this province, the nature of public education in this province. Those influences come at a provincial level. And so our willingness, not just to vote, but to get engaged and to get involved is essential. And I'm going to repeat what we learned after Shabbat last week when we had CJ Pack. I was proud of the fact that 2 hard workers from our community's organization who helps people connect to politics and politicians, no matter what party they support, and develop those relationships and to be part of the political process, that the 2 presenters were both really engaged young adults who grew up at Temple Sinai. I'm very proud of Michelle and Mitch, not just in how they did last week, but how they do every day. And what they reminded us also is that the election is a crucial day, and it is one day. Now, as over the next days, the dust clears, I'm going to encourage everyone who's on the other end of this, whether live with us here on Temple on Zoom or on YouTube. I'm going to encourage each of you to reach out to the winning candidate in your riding, to congratulate them, and to try to create an opportunity to get to know them and tell them what your hopes are for Ontario and for yourself and your family and your community in the months ahead. We cannot underestimate the importance of continuing to be involved. And as we were reminded this past Shabbat, there are very few electoral districts, very few ridings where the Jewish voice is of significance, let alone anywhere where we could possibly determine an outcome. And so the willingness, the commitment to be part of the process every day is extraordinarily important. And I really want to urge each and every one of you over this time to do just that, because good can happen in the time ahead, in this month of Adar, in the time ahead. The nature of what happens in public education can take a turn for the positive, whether at the junior level or at a post-secondary level. And we can be part of good directions and good opportunities. And we look forward to doing that together. Our tradition tells us, as I said earlier in today's Zoom, in today's stream, it encourages and demands that we choose life. That doesn't only mean that we say life is good. It means that we live our life and our days to the fullest, being aware of the challenges, but grabbing on to the good things and grabbing on to the opportunities for us to be part of what happens and to make a difference. And each of us can do that. We can do that with our friends and family. We can do that in our Temple Sinai community. We can do that in our larger community. And I look forward to continuing to do that with you. This is a meaningful moment in the development of our community and our culture. And let's make sure that it's not just that our vote counts, but that we're willing to do what counts. I really see that we can make more positive days ahead. We're aware of the importance of every individual as at this time in our service, still at this time of tentative ceasefire, where Israel is still on a war footing, that we stand with and honor the service and commitment of all those who wear the IDF uniform, who stand not just for the democratic Jewish state of Israel, but also for the Jewish community, for all of Israel's citizens, and they stand for all of us worldwide. And so let us join in this prayer for the soldiers of the IDF and how they stand on guard for us. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב ואמותינו שרה רבקה לאה ורחל, הוא יברך את חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל ושאר מגיני עמנו העומדים על משמרתם. ישמורם הקדוש ברוך הוא ויצילם מכל צרה וצוקה ומכל נגע ומחלה, וישלח ברכה בכל מעשה ידיהם, ויקוים בהם הכתוב, וכיתתו חרבותיהם לעתים, וחניתותיהם למזמרות, לא יישאו גוי לגוי חרב, ולא ימדון עוד מלחמה, וישבו איש תחת גפנו, ותחת תאנתו, ואין מחריד ונאמר, אמן. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless the soldiers of the IDF and all who stand on guard for us. May the Holy One guard them against all difficulty and distress, injury and illness. May all of their actions bring blessing, fulfilling the prophet's words. Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Let nation not lift up sword against nation, and may they learn war no more. May all sit under a vine or fig tree, with none to make them afraid. And together we say, Amen. Well, as we acknowledge their sacrifice, we acknowledge the difficulty, the challenge, the pain, the recovery, the isolation, of all those in need of strength and healing. This prayer starts at home. It is for those in our family and our circle of friends who may be injured or unwell or isolated by infirmity or age, and that for each of them, we must stand with them if we ourselves are experiencing those difficulties, opening ourselves up to the support we receive, asking for the support we need, even at the fear of being disappointed, is a must. And as it's unclear what is the future of the remaining hostages in Gaza, we continue to include them and their family in these prayers, hoping that this crime against humanity that is carried out every day in their forced isolation can come to an end immediately. And so for those names that have been given to me and given to Temple, those names that have been placed in the chat and this and other services for all in need, we turn to these words of refuah. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב ואמותינו שרה, רבקה, לאה ורחל, הוא ירפא את כל מכותינו. יהי רצון מלפניך אדוני אלוהינו לחלימם ולרפאותם, וישלח לנו מהרה רפואה שלמה ועטרת שלום, ונאמר Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless and heal all who suffer. May it be the divine will to provide healing and strength, reveal to us the holiness of life, the wholeness of shalom, and let us say together, Amen. Well, we pause now and we remember, recalling those who died in recent days and weeks, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. During the last 30 days, the period of Shloshim, we extend our condolences to the families of Larry Bernick, Sharon Rosen, Sam Marr, Stephen Diamond, Irving Goldberg, Helene Newman, Michael Lander, Joy Lowenstein, Ian Hart. And we also remember all victims of war and terror, including terror victims Ariel Bibas, Kfir Bibas, Shiri Bibas, and Oded Lifshitz. And those soldiers of the IDF who've died in the last 30 days while on active duty, we hope that no new names are added to this list for a very long time. We honor the sacrifice of Avraham Tzvika Friedman, Ofer Jung, Nadav Cohen, Nachman Rafael Ben-Ami, and Liam Chazi. And on Yahrzeit, on the anniversary of their deaths on this 30th day of the month of Shvat, the 28th of February, 2025, we honor the life and legacy on Yahrzeit of Harold Baker, Jaime Davids, William Firestone, Marie Gold, Myra Cates, Mary Litvak, Irving Reif, Joan Speak, Albert State, Etty Urowitz, Lenny Leonard Wax. Zichronam Nevacha, may their memories be a blessing to us. Our griefs and our sympathies are mingled as we turn together to words sanctified by memory, words glorified by hope. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemeh rabba, be'alma divra chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chaye dechol bet Yisrael, b'agala uv'izman kari v'imor, Amen. Yeh shmeh rabba mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ואמור אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמור אמן. עושה שלום במומיו, הוא יעשה שלום Alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imor. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and bring comfort and strength to all who remember. And together we say, Amen. Well, there's much opportunity and much to be grateful for. On the opportunity side, a reminder that tonight's Friday night service is available on our streaming link. We don't use Zoom links for Friday night services anymore, starting last week. but this is easily available through registration through the Temple website or your events email that you receive that has the connections. Please don't look for us on Zoom on Friday nights. And in fact, if you want to look for us in person, tonight's service is also available in person. Feel free, if you're in the mood, to come join us at 6:30 p.m. in person at Temple and registering through the website for that, or join us online at 6:30 as we bring joy to the celebration of the beginning of the month of Adar. Temple is grateful that 3 contributions have been made in memory today. We're grateful that a contribution has been made to the campaign for tzedakah by the Wax family, observing Yahrzeit for Lenny Wax. That a contribution's been made to the security campaign by Riva Garber and family, observing Yahrzeit for Irving Reif. And that a contribution's been made to the Minyan Fund by Eve Lipsitz, observing Yahrzeit for Myra Cates. Wishing you a Shabbat Shalom and a Boker Tov. Make it a good one.